How do you like having your bangs?
I like it. It's a lot more work than what I'm used to, but so far so good. I've finally figured out like a good technique to like make them look exactly how I want them, because there's so many ways to like get them a certain way, and I don't like the straight across on me.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel like I'm like Dora the Explorer.
Oh.
But I do like the short curtain bangs, because I used to have like longer curtain bangs, but I feel like the shorter curtain bangs look better on me. But it's just a lot more work to do.
It's a commitment, for sure.
Because it's like I have to do them every day. Like if I don't do them, like I am either gonna have to like wear a headband or just like, I don't know. It just looks silly. Like they're just like, I wake up and they're like everywhere, and I just look crazy with them. But no, it's been good. It's been
Your
good.
hair is your hair curly, like naturally?
Yes.
Oh, but you got that keratin treatment.
Yes.
So is your hair still curly, or is it straight?
Yes, it's still like if I air dry it, it's still, well, I wouldn't say my hair is curly. The curly hair community is gonna come after me if I say that.
They
It's like
always do.
very it's like wavy, and some of my hairs do a full spiral, but most of it doesn't. And I think it's because my hair is so long that it just like weighs it down. Because my hair is also very thick and dense. And so I've never had like curly hair, and I've never been able to like get an actual like curl, but it's like wavy curly,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I was gonna ask if your bangs were like curly, because I love curly bangs.
Yes. They when I air dry them, they're definitely like they give a little curl. Like the shorter my hair is, the better the curl is. So
Okay,
I bet
that
if
makes
like
sense.
if I had like really, really short hair, my hair would do like really, really well with curly hair. But yeah, I'm just not, I've tried the curly hair routine and everything, but I just can't get it to work, and I just don't like the way I look with curly hair. So I found out about the keratin treatment, and I went to go get that done, and it's been like the best thing that I've ever done to my hair. I can't believe I went so long without knowing what that treatment was, because it would have saved me so much time, so much like, I don't know, just trying different things. And I'm actually going to go back this month to get it redone, because I can already tell it's like coming back, like my curls and like the frizziness. That's really like the number one thing that I wanted to get rid of, was my frizziness, because no matter what I did, my hair would always be frizzy, or like I would do my hair and it would be like a little bit humid outside, and it would just go back to its right, like it looked like I just got out of the shower. And that just was
And
so
you have a lot of hair.
frustrating. Yeah, it was so frustrating, because I would spend like an hour on my hair for it to just like go away in like 2 seconds because I stepped outside,
Oh no.
which was so annoying. So now that I got that treatment done, it's been like a lot better to maintain. And also, one thing about my hair is that like it doesn't dry very fast. And so the treatment helped with that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because my
That's
hair
cool.
would take, like if I didn't blow dry it right after the shower, at least like let it air dry in the towel for a little bit, like it would take hours to air dry by itself. But now I can dry it like with my blow dryer in like maybe 20 minutes, and usually it would take me like 45 minutes to blow dry it. Yeah. Which is insane. Like my hair would just not dry. Like it would just retain all of the water. And that's why I think like whenever I stepped outside and it was humid, my hair would just soak it all up. And so that was really annoying. But yeah, anyways. How are you liking your hair?
I'm growing my bangs out, and it's a
Okay.
process. Which
Yeah.
I do this every year, and I don't know why. It's like for summer, I don't like having bangs because I like a
Okay,
slick
yes.
back for weddings.
Yes.
And then as soon as like fall hits, I'm like, oh, I need to
Bangs.
change, and I cut my bangs. And then I grow them from like fall to spring.
Okay, yeah. Bangs are very like fall.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm growing mine out right now. Because I think I've decided on what I want my wedding look to be like for my hair.
Yes.
And so I really need my bangs to not be here. They need to like go away. So I'm trying so hard to grow them right now.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, you have a vision.
yeah,
like
I have
it.
a vision.
Okay. Well, they're not too short, are they? I don't think they are.
They're short when I like part my hair in the middle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, because I had like pretty like curtain bangs where like the shortest part was very short and then the longest part was very long. So it's like a lot that I have to like grow out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the like short ones are kind of like, I would say my eyeball.
Oh, wow. Then yeah, you do have a...
Yeah. I know, only 2 months and I'm like, oh God.
But will it work if it doesn't grow out too much?
Yeah, I can always like hairspray the shit out of them. But
yeah, and who knows what April's gonna look like as far as the weather too.
Yeah.
It's been so weird, our weather in Dallas these past few like 2 weeks. I feel like it's been like up, down, like extremes.
Yeah.
It's been so weird. But I was gonna ask you if you, for some odd reason, watched the Super Bowl.
I did not. I literally am the worst. I don't watch any like pop culture event.
Yeah, well, and really the only ones I've watched recently is like the one with Rihanna, which I don't even know if that was last year or the year before that.
I don't know. It couldn't be me.
That's why I watched the Super Bowl, for like the halftime show. But anyways, so I did end up watching the Super Bowl, and honestly it was quite boring because I don't know if you heard like what happened, but the Chiefs lost, and they lost very badly. Like, it was actually so boring.
I saw the meme of Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
This is not what I want.
It was a sad day for the Chiefs. And I was rooting for the Eagles because I have to have someone to root for. And I think last year I rooted for the Chiefs. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to root for the Eagles. And then I heard about like Jalen Hurts and how he has like an all women's like team, and he's a part of the Eagles. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to root for the Eagles this year. They won.
Which is really wild.
Fake fan, but it's fine. I don't really like literally this is the only football game that I've watched like all year. So it's not like I'm not really into football at all. I just wanted to watch the halftime show, and I like all the commercials and everything, all the pop culture stuff that comes out of the Super Bowl. I really, really like. And anyway, so enough about football. I wanted to talk about Kendrick's performance. Did you hear anything about that?
I've only seen like the little clips.
Oh, okay. So you haven't seen like the whole performance. No. Oh my gosh. It was so good. I watched it live, and I was just like, I kept looking at Avery because I love Kendrick. I've actually seen him live 2 times.
Oh, wow.
And both at music festivals and both front row. And that means I spent around like maybe like 9 hours.
Oh my God.
Waiting for him to headline. Okay. And of course, like at music festivals, it's like someone will start at that stage, and then an hour will pass, and then another performer will go, and then an hour will pass, and then another, like it just keeps going. But so it wasn't like I was just standing there for 9 hours with like nothing to do, because
but you were waiting.
That would be annoying. But yes, I was waiting for basically like 9 hours at these music festivals to see him live because I love him. Anyway, so it was just really cool to like see that performance, and it was just like, I don't know, I was just like, wow, art is so powerful. Like, you can make anything art, everything is art, and it just like, art is just like a message that you can send out to the world, and it just like, I don't know, it just goes to show like how powerful art can be. And he just like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of symbolism with it. Like, people are doing like dissertations on TikTok about it, and I just like love to see people doing that, just because, I don't know, not everyone like talks about the halftime show as like art. Right. And that was like his moment to shine. And honestly, he's had a really good month with like the Grammys and like this halftime show, and I can't even imagine how Drake is feeling right now. Because I would I would not be well.
See, I don't know anything about Drake either.
Okay, so. Yeah. Well, I don't really either. I used to be a really big fan back in his prime, I would say, like his older music. He's another person that I've seen live that I really liked. But yeah, I definitely like Kendrick a lot more than Drake. But yeah, it's just crazy. I just love the halftime show. Like, art has always been like, it's always been like something that criticizes the government and criticizes just like things in general. Like, since the start of time, since art became a thing, like it's always been like a symbol for change and everything. And like one of my favorite moments was did you see him wearing his his bootcut jeans or
Yes,
bell bottom
yeah.
jeans, like so good. That's literally the first thing I noticed. I was like, Avery, look at his jeans. It was so good because I've never seen like, I don't know, a rapper wear that style of jeans. So it was
Yeah.
just like really cool. And people were on TikTok were saying like bell bottoms were like a statement in the past. And it just like it was just really cool to see like how the fashion like meant something and how like the little things that he was doing meant something. And
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole thing
Well,
was
if you
just so
have
cool.
that like one moment that like you're building up to, like
Yeah.
you could design every single detail to like be a message. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And I feel like there are artists that do that, but there's also artists that don't.
Yeah.
And just so like it just goes to show how cool he is and like how much he thinks about every single detail. Like he could have just gone up there, sang his most like popular songs and been like, okay, I'm out. Like he didn't have to do all of that and he did. And I just think that's so cool. And again, inspiring. Like I've just been like so inspired by just different styles of art and mediums and everything. And so it's just been cool to see like everyone doing their thing, like Chapel at the Grammys, like calling out people or like the industry, telling them like, you need to pay us a good wage and also give us health insurance. And so it's just cool to see like people like speaking out like that. So
Yeah.
I
It's been a crazy couple of months.
I know there's been so much happening and like, I don't know, it's just wild to see. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Kendrick's performance because I was just like, oh my gosh, it was just so cool, especially just like seeing it live because me and Avery were both like, oh my gosh, like it was just so cool. Oh, SZA had like a really great voice during that performance, and then Serena Williams made a cameo. And
Oh,
everyone was
really?
like, is that Serena Williams? And I was like, I don't know. And they panned her again. And I was like, oh my God, it is.
That's amazing.
I know. Like, what is she doing there? So yeah, it was wild. But yeah, that's it on the Super Bowl. There wasn't anything else I wanted to say about that. Oh, I was gonna talk to you too about, did you see Dubsado rebranded?
No? When?
No.
Mine doesn't look any different.
No, it's not. It doesn't look different. They rebranded right now. They just like changed their logo, their colors. I think maybe their homepage is a little different. I don't know. I haven't checked that out yet, but their interface is still the same.
Oh, okay.
They're not rolling that out until like the summer, I'm pretty sure. But
okay.
I think it was yesterday that they announced their like rebrand. So their logo looks different. And
where are you finding this news? Do you get emails or something?
Well, I did get a Dubsado email.
Okay.
And my friend Taylor, she's like a workflow specialist, like, and she made a reel about it.
Oh, okay.
So she's kind of been keeping up with it too. But I did get an email from Dubsado saying that they.
Whenever I get an email from Dubsado, it says Becca from Dubsado, and I'm like, eh. But maybe I should be paying attention to these emails from Becca, because I'm like,
It's so funny. I don't know if it was from Becca this time, but I did get an email, and so they rebranded, so their logo looks a little different. It's a lot more like.
Remember when Honeybook rebranded and it was awful?
Yeah, and that's basically kind of like what I'm getting from Dubsado, like as far as what people are saying about it. It's just like giving typical tech rebrand, if that makes sense. It kind of reminds me of like how cars are rebranding right now, car brands, and they all kind of look the same. They're like very modern tech looking, and so it's giving that, but I don't really care. But like people were like just being like, oh my gosh, it looks like everything else, and like they're just giving their opinions about it, and like people don't need to rebrand. They like their old logo, but I'm like, they already did it. What are we gonna do? Like,
yeah, well, people are afraid of change.
Yeah, always.
Anytime something changes, there's gonna be like pushback.
Yeah.
It's just because we're like comfortable and familiar with it, and now it's new. So
yeah, and I don't really care. Like, of course, like I think their old logo was not better, but it definitely distinguished them a little bit more because now it just looks typical.
Is it still like red and?
No, it's like a teal.
See, why does everyone go blue?
Yeah, I think they've always had that teal color, but I think it's slightly different. Look it up really quick. It's like almost a more of a muted teal color, and then it's like a purple with like a pink too, like a magenta color. look up Dubsado Rebrand and see if anything pops up. Okay, yeah. So it's like the same colors, but like they're a little bit more muted, but they're still vibrant, if that makes sense. And so it is
just so jarringly different.
Yeah, yeah. And so again, like I don't really care, whatever. They're gonna rebrand if they want to. They can do whatever they want to. It's not like I'm gonna change their mind or anybody else. But the reason I'm excited is because they are changing their interface. So I think before we judge them, like let's see their entire rebrand interface, everything, to see what they've been doing behind the scenes. I know they had a hard time like with their coding and they had to like change the whole thing. So it's taken them a little bit to change everything, but I'm excited to see what they do in the future because we've been with Dubsado for so long. Again, I'm like, I'm not changing. Like, whatever. I mean, unless they go rogue like Honeybook and charge us like $1,000 a year, then maybe I might go rogue. But no, I think they're staying with their same like pricing, hopefully, with this new interface and everything. But I am excited to see what they change because their interface right now looks very dated for sure. So that's definitely something that I did want them to change. But yeah, so
I think that'll attract more people.
Yeah, 100%, because that's like the number one reason I started with Honeybook when I first started is because I liked their interface better than Dubsado. But then I realized that Dubsado just had better features. And so I was like, you know what, whatever. Like if it's going to make my client experience better, then I'm just going to go over to Dubsado. I don't care what it looks like. I'll figure it out. And so, yeah, hopefully it does kind of bring more people in because I do think that's one of the main issues that Dubsado has.
Yeah.
That I've heard from other people.
Same.
That they just do not like the interface. And also one of the biggest ones was that they didn't have an app, but they do now. So
I'm still anti-app. So
yeah, I am too. I really could care less if they had an app or not. Try to keep everything off of my phone, not more.
Yeah.
I don't need more notifications on my phone. But yeah, so I can't believe you didn't know about the rebrand. Miranda, where have you been? She's been in her Substack and
literally in my own little world.
You really have. It's so funny.
Yes. Well, I was gonna say my newest obsession right now. Have you read A Court of Thorns and Roses?
I read the first 2 books and then I just stopped.
You weren't into it?
I just am not a fantasy person.
Okay.
I really tried because I really liked the first book and I liked the second book, but I just I couldn't be bothered.
Well, you still might like my newest obsession then.
Oh, okay.
Because my friend Reagan has a podcast. And it's her and her friend who has read all of the books.
Okay.
But Reagan this is their first time reading through the books. And so basically their podcast is just them like recapping each chapter, but it's hilarious. They're so funny. And so their podcast name is One Bed at the Inn.
Okay.
And their like slogan is like a podcast for enemies and lovers of romantic fiction.
That's so cute.
So when they started out, like Reagan was like an enemy and then Emily was the lover.
I see.
But now they're both kind of like...
They love it.
Yeah. So it's just so really cute. Funny. I love their commentary. And it's really like fun for me because I just recently went back and listened to the audiobooks because I was just wanting something like to listen to. So it's like fresh on my mind, the first book. So
okay.
If you're looking for like a really fun like podcast to pass the time, you should listen. It's so funny.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I can get back into it. It's just like it's really hard for me to like world build in my head.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just hard for me to like read those types of books. And I've never liked movies about fantasy or sci-fi either. So yeah, so it's just like one of those genres that I just like, I don't know. Maybe I can, because like I read the first 2, so like I know I can. It's just that I don't know, it didn't keep me interested in reading like the whole thing. But it also could be that they're so overwhelming because they're so big. There's so much going on, wars, like like people sleeping together. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
Keep that shit up.
Hearts. I love it, but it's just it's just a little too much for me, especially right now. I'm like in this, I don't know. My brain isn't just like wanting that right now. It's just like I don't know. I told you I'm like in my girl boss era, so I'm like finding things that like inspire me, and that's really something that's not there.
I will say, last week when I was talking about how overwhelmed I was, it's just in my luteal phase. I'm perfectly fine now, and so now I'm back on my girl boss.
Yeah. Well, and we also like. I feel like this week feels different than last week. Last week we were just like a train wreck, I feel like.
I know.
With the podcast, I was like, what are we talking about? I can't talk. I don't know any words. We're almost twin flames because our periods are almost synced.
Yep.
Like, by almost like, I think we'll be like 2 days off of each other.
Wow.
If I start pretty soon, which is funny. TMI. But we're almost there. We're almost like morphing into twin flame.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're really close to someone, is when your periods sync.
Yeah, so now I'm on a totally different wavelength. And
yes.
I think last week I was just like, give me things to numb me out. I need my romantic fiction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, and that is a good way to just like not be on TikTok, not be on like social media, but still be in a different world, which I do like. So I did like The Fourth Wing though.
Okay,
The Fourth Wing was so good to me because it was an easier read than ACOTAR.
For sure.
Like I like that type of book where it's like it still gives me world building, it still gives me like that romance, but it feels modern, and that's what I liked about it. So I did like that book a lot.
I did too.
So oh wait, you already read it?
I read Fourth Wing. I'm on Iron Flame right now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I haven't read Iron Flame yet, but Iron Flame? Oh wait, something just came out too, right?
Yes, Onyx Storm.
Yes, okay. I was like, wait, is
the
that
new
right?
one.
Okay, yeah. I need to get back on that. I just haven't read any books. Is that fiction? I always get that confused.
For
fiction.
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't read fiction books in a while, but I do need to get back on that. I do. Yeah, I love like a thriller or just like a mystery book too. I really like those types of books as far as fiction goes, but I don't know, maybe I'll get back into the fantasy. It's just hard.
It's okay.
Especially
it's
like
not
those,
for everyone.
yeah, especially if it's like a series of like 10 books. I'm like,
yeah. Like, did you grow up like watching like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and stuff?
No. Okay. And I still to this day do not like stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only one I really liked was like Harry Potter.
Okay.
But I don't even think I've read any of those. I maybe read like the first 2 and then I just watched the movies.
Yeah. I didn't read any of Harry Potter either.
Because those were really hard to follow. Well, also I was really young, I think, when those were out. So it was really hard to follow. I'm sure now I could read them and like understand what was going on. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know about books right now. Well, as far as like fiction books or fantasy.
That's okay.
I did like Fourth Wing. I just need maybe like a fiction book that's going to get me back into like book reading, I guess. I feel like I always just need that one book and then I'm like hooked. I'm like, okay, let's keep reading. Because it's like a show.
Yeah.
It's like something to keep me going, like Severance right now. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hyper fixated on it. I'm like watching like literally everything about every episode, explanations, all of this stuff. And even I think you texted me and I never replied to the text. My bad. Was you saying that you needed to rewatch season 1 because it's like hard to understand, but it's like I think that's everyone except for the people that like go on the internet and like explain everything, because like I'll understand the base level of things, but like I do feel like I need someone else to kind of explain a little bit further than what I'm understanding, because it is that type of show where you like cannot miss anything. You have to be paying attention to like every single little thing. Like they're really good at like Easter eggs, like any posters around mean something, like everything means something in that show. But there's also other like red herrings where like that doesn't mean anything either.
Exactly. It's giving Taylor Swift Swifties, like trying to find every little thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I just want to watch the show.
And you can. I feel like that's why I like the show so much, because it's like you can just watch it and be like, okay, whatever. Like I get the through line of it. But it's also fun to like know what other people are thinking and like what they, I don't know, what they uncover watching the show, because then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true.
Like the fact that you can read Rickon's book is crazy to me.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yes, I saw it popped up on my YouTube feed of like people saying like Easter eggs in the book. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe people are reading it. Like, I wonder if it's inspiring. I don't even know what it's called, but that is so funny. Yeah, on Apple Books. That is just such a good little thing to add to like be a part of like the show and everything. I don't know. It's so good. And then that podcast that I sent you, they're also like really good at like seeing things that other people haven't seen, or just like making conclusions out of like what they saw. And I don't know. I just like love.
As soon as I'm done with my ACOTAR podcast, I'm jumping on the Severance.
Oh, yes. It's so good. I don't know why I'm like so. I've never been like this with any show at all. I think it's just because it's so mysterious and like there's so much depth to it. And again, it's art. So it's like, I love seeing how other people do things and how differently they're doing it from other like competitors as far as like TV shows and things. So I just like how cool it is. But anyways, enough about that. We're like, we're acting like Severance is paying us, like Apple is paying us to say these things. I swear, we have no sponsors, no ads. We're just obsessed people. But we also went to our friend Taylor's studio warming party the other day on Sunday. And it was so fun.
It was such a cute time.
Cute. Yeah, she decorated the whole space and like invited a lot of like vendors and I don't know, maybe her past clients, like, and literally anyone could have came to her little studio warming thing. And it was just, I don't know, it was just so fun to see other people. And it's just, again, like one of those things where I was like, I didn't have to go, but I wanted to and I needed to, to like connect with people that I hadn't seen in a while and just like show my face around too.
I know. I wish I wouldn't have left early because I saw a bunch of people like come that I'm like, oh dang,
yeah,
hang out with you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't leave until like, I think I didn't get home until like 5.
Wow.
Yeah, so I stayed for a long time, just talking to people and whatnot, and just like helping Taylor with everything. But it was a good time, and it was so inspiring. I was like, oh my gosh, we need a studio like this. Like
it was amazing. Like, yeah. Just to see like all of her like inventory. And then I thought that little office space was it. And then to walk into like her, what would you call it? Like a warehouse?
Yeah, it's like her studio and fridge and where everything, it's like a garage almost. Yeah. Like in the back where you like lift up the garage, and that's like where it's almost like a workshop.
Yes, a workshop.
Like a workshop. And like the front of it's almost like more of like a studio
office front.
Yeah, which is really cool. I really liked how that was like separate, and you can like just close a door and it's still like just an office, but then you have like the workshop back there. So I thought that was really, really cool. And yeah, and she's so nice. Like I think that was my first time meeting her in person.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like I've known her just like online, and my sister had been hanging out with her a lot because she's been helping her with like video content. And so Steph just kind of like signed me up to take pictures at the event. So that's what I did at the event, plus also talk to everyone as well. I was just kind of like doing everything. And she's so sweet. She's letting Miranda use some of her like inventory, like candlesticks and whatever else she has. So that's really sweet
for my wedding.
Sweet of her to do. Like and I know a lot of vendors do this, like what is it called, like barter or trade, like trade.
Yeah. Trade for
services, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
something, you know what we mean. And so yeah, she's letting Miranda use a few things for her wedding, which is super sweet. And yeah, it was just a good time, and I was just like, oh my gosh, if Taylor can do it, then we can do it. And we could have a studio space one day.
It was very inspiring.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just so cool to like see women thrive too. It was just like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love to see it. But I think that's everything that I had for
Life updates.
Yeah, life updates, everything that I've been doing recently. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, my last update is that I am fully immersed into the world of Substack.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I was already like kind of like on board with Substack, but I wasn't using it like for myself.
Yeah.
I would just like consume other people's content. And now I'm like, oh my God, I want to delete everything else and only have Substack. And I'm very inspired. It's it's basically because I started my period and now I'm like, oh
yeah,
I
eyes
have
are open,
energy
heart
again.
is full.
And when I find something that I love, I get obsessed with it and I'm like, this is the only thing that matters.
Yes.
Which is very manifesting generator for us, which we're going to talk about today. And so, yeah, I am all in for Substack. I'm so excited. Today, while I was waiting for my Pilates class to start, I opened up my notes app and wrote like 10 different ideas of like posts to.
Oh my gosh. Wait, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm like into it. And I've been waiting for this moment because since maybe I started college, I've always wanted to write, but never thought that I could or that I was bad at it. And so I've been waiting for the moment where I felt like lit up about writing. And right now I feel so lit up and I just know I'm supposed to follow that. So
yes. And you should.
I'm here for it.
And you have.
Yes. I've already posted one little post if you want to follow me.
Yeah, go follow Miranda on there. That is so fun. It's even inspired me to write and I've never had that itch. As far as like blogs and everything. Yeah, it's been just I don't know. I've just been so inspired by everything lately. And maybe it's just me just finding inspiration from everything and that's just like what I'm doing right now, but there's just so many people on there that are like going through different journeys and like sharing their journey and just like writing things that I would never find on any other app too. Like it reminds me like I said, I think a few podcasts ago, it reminds me of Tumblr because that's what Tumblr used to be. People would write all of these things, have like really aesthetic pictures, and there'd be like funny little notes and everything. So it's just like so reminiscent of that, but it's more of like an up-leveled, mature version of it.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's so good. I'm definitely just going to consume on there. I don't think I'll be writing anything, but who knows, that might change. I love following people's journeys and maybe that's something that I would be into writing as well if I do start something on there. It's just like, I don't know, starting a journey and just like following through and writing about it because I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I've just been, I love Substack.
It was just so nice to wake up this morning and open up Substack instead of TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's crazy the energy shift that I felt. I was like, it's very slow. It's very, I don't know. It just feels like it's
like an art museum too.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really nice feeling. And I even like moved TikTok off of my like home screen. Cause I'm like, I don't even like need to impulsively click on it. Yeah. I'm just gonna like post on it, but not really.
And who knows, it might be gone too in a few short weeks.
So true.
So might as well get used to being somewhere else.
Yes.
And not be so tied into TikTok because in January I was literally like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, yeah. And so glad that we found Substack, which it's not new. When did it start?
It's not new at all because Ian used to have a Substack because he would do like he would make like collaborative playlists with people who would like write in and you would make a playlist of like songs that they submit. So it's been around for a long time. But I think if you're listening to this right now and you're like, what is Substack? Download it because there's a lot more people on there than you would think.
Yeah.
Like it is actually
and I feel like
popular.
A lot more people are just now getting on it too. So like a lot of people that I've followed on TikTok or even Instagram, I saw are now on Substack and they just got on that like within the past week or so. And so that's been really cool to see like that shift of people like going over to another app and slowly too. It's been like a slow burn over to that app. It's not, I don't see it like pop up on anything Like I don't see people talking about it on TikTok. I don't really see people talking about it on Instagram. It's almost like secretive.
There's also this feeling of like, I don't want my Instagram followers to find me on here. Like, I don't want my following to migrate. I want to build a new following.
Yes.
Which I really like because, and it's not like something will go viral and you'll pop off. Like it is like slow growth. So everything is just very, very slow and it feels really nice. So yeah,
Substack.
Go over there, girlies.
It's been really, really good for the mind for sure. It's just like so peaceful over there. There's not a lot of like drama or like stuff that you get sucked into. It's just like everything, it really is so inspiring. And of course, like you can make your feed whatever you want it to be, but so far so good on my end.
Yeah, same.
It doesn't like consume me. And if it does, it's like stuff that's like good for you.
Right. Yeah.
That like, I don't know, gets the creative juices flowing, which I really like in an app. So yeah, it's been good. But all right, I guess that's it, right? I don't think I had anything else to say about Substack.
Yeah. Now we get to talk about my other favorite obsession.
Yes, let's get into it today.
Do we want to talk about astrology first and then human design?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what I had first on my thing.
Cool. We love talking about astrology, human design, personality tests.
Yes.
Anything that can help you find yourself and know yourself. It makes like decision making easier.
Yeah. And it just feels like you're on the right path and you can unapologetically be yourself because of this thing, which is so funny because you can do that regardless, but it almost like gives you full permission to just do what you want and not follow anybody else's rules. And that's what I like about it. It's just like it gives you permission and you can follow it. You can't like, you don't have to follow it, but at least you have something that just like is there that you can remind yourself, oh yeah, I am that girl.
Yeah. Or if you feel like you're trying to fit a certain mold and you don't know why it's not working for you.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh, I just am not wired that way. And
yeah.
It's very freeing.
Yeah. It is so cool. And it's one of those things where I'm like not completely set on like, is that real or is it not? Because I'm very like open-minded when it comes to that stuff. And I always like asking questions and I'm very like scientific, but I'm also woo-woo. So I like that it doesn't have to be true, but it can be if you wanted to.
Yeah, I went to school for biochemistry, okay? Yeah. Like, I love science.
Yeah.
But I also love, being in tune with my intuition.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I just wanted to say about that, because it's like I love things like this, and I don't even know if it's true or not, but it's like it's still, that doesn't even matter to me. It's just like it just gives me permission to be who I am, which is like always what I'm striving to do. And everything I read about it, I'm like, wow, that's me. That's like, that is me. So yeah, let's start with Miranda and your astrology, and then I'll kind of bounce back and forth.
So we're going to go over our sun, moon, and rising signs. So if you don't know what those mean, your sun sign is basically your like core identity. Your moon sign is like your inner self and like your emotional well-being. And then your rising sign is how others perceive you and how you kind of view the world. So my sun sign is Virgo, in the 11th house. 11th house. I had a lisp there. Which I never really understood or knew about houses until like, I would say like this past year. So the 11th house deals with like friendships and how you engage in society. So I'm a Virgo who is like very analytical, detail oriented, practical, reliable, but like through like friendships and relationships, which
interesting. Okay.
I think really rings true to me, because growing up hearing that I was a Virgo, I was like, no, but I don't really care about like analytical things or like I like organizing, but it's not like my identity, you know what I mean? Yeah. But realizing that there's different houses that you could fall into.
Seeing, I don't even know anything about the houses or anything like that.
Well, my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're realizing that you don't like resonate with your sign, maybe check out what house you're in, because that could change things for you. And then my moon sign is I'm in Aries in the 6th house. So the 6th house is like daily responsibilities, your work environment, or like your service to others. And so my Aries moon, I experience emotions very intensely and spontaneously, and I am very reactive. And I like want immediate results. And that all rings very true to me. And especially with like my daily responsibilities and my work. So yeah, that's my moon sign. And then my rising sign is Scorpio, which is very intense and determined and perceptive and kind of mysterious. And I seek like depth and like authenticity. And I really hate small talk. So yeah.
Small talk is so funny. Yeah, I really don't like small talk either. So my sun is Gemini, and like you said, it's like your identity. And growing up, I never really resonated, but of course, like growing up, I wasn't really like into astrology. I just knew I was a Gemini. I didn't really like look into it besides like the core little things that it like said. And Geminis always get a really bad rap, like for no reason. I feel like I really like everyone's like they hate Geminis, and I mean that's okay.
I always hear people be like, if he's a guy, like a Gemini man, like stay away.
Oh yes. It's because they're seen as like two-faced.
Okay.
And so I think that's like one of the major reasons they get a bad rap, because it's like two different sides of the coin. But I can definitely see how I'm a Gemini now. And you can see it in how like curious I am about things. I'm always like looking for different hobbies, or researching different things, or just like being just like open-minded about everything. I'm always two sides of the coin. I can always see the other side for what it is. Like I never really agree with one side or the other, because I'm like, well, both kind of make sense to me. But I'm always trying like different art forms, different hobbies, and I'm also on the cusp. So my birthday's on when Gemini starts and when Taurus ends. And so that's another way I'm like fully Gemini, like two sides like that. It's just so weird that I'm always been like that.
Wow.
Especially with being a manifesting generator. Like it's just so weird how everything in my life is like that. But I'm also really good at like brainstorming and creative ideas and connecting with my clients through like my energy, which is why I think when we were talking about client calls on the podcast, I was like, I feel like I need to see them in person, or not in person, but just like see their face. And I connect with people way differently than just like hearing their voice. And then I'm also like, with my photography style, I'm like obsessed with the editorial side, but also obsessed with the documentary side. And so it's like I have to have both. So I'm just like always,
you be on that cusp always.
Yes, I'm always just like it's so weird. But yeah, so Gemini moon or Gemini sun, and my moon is Cancer. And so I feel like I'm very deeply intuitive, nurturing. I feel like that's one of my like biggest things is like I love helping others, and my Cancer moon definitely comes out in that way. And I am definitely emotionally sensitive, but my Gemini always hides it. So mine's like almost like behind the scenes. Emotional. My emotional side comes out like when nobody's around. And it also has to do with my Scorpio rising too. I feel like my Scorpio rising and my Gemini are just like twins. But my so in my business, my moon makes me like amazing at like connecting emotionally with my clients, understanding their needs, and making their like photos feel personal to them. And so I'm just like really good at like capturing them in those like heartfelt moments and like the intimate moments at weddings, because I feel like it's like my Cancer move is like my Cancer moon is very just like, I don't know, I just want to see like the emotions, and I don't know, I'm really good at like capturing both things. And my rising sign is Scorpio. And so people I feel like usually see me as like very mysterious and passionate and maybe like bitchy at times, or like what I've heard in the past is like my first impression is usually like they were intimidated by me, which is so funny because I don't feel like I'm very intimidating. I'm just like pretty shy when I first meet people. I don't open up easily. So you really gotta crack me open for me to like tell you my like deepest emotional insecurities or whatever. I'm not one to like open up like easily to people, but it's funny because people will open up easily to me. And so it's just funny how that works.
You think that's a Scorpio rising thing? Because that also happens to me.
Maybe. Yeah, it happens to my sister as well. And I'm not too sure what her rising sign is, but I feel like the first time I meet someone, like they immediately open up and I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting deep here. But it's funny because then I never open up to them because it'll take me quite a bit of time to start talking about myself and like what I'm going through or whatever it is, or just like getting deep. And in business, I feel like I give off confident, that it like makes me stand out. And I feel like my clients might perceive me as someone who like delivers work with a lot of like meaning and heart and just like passion. So that's really good for me as far as business goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so ways that I do that as far as like my Scorpio rising is that like the atmosphere or energy of a moment, like I can capture like dramatic lighting and like the composition of things really well, and like the tiny details of what makes their wedding personal. So like their heirlooms or like the candid moments that makes them them. And yeah, just like the juxtaposition and the contrast of weddings too is like people will have like these elegant weddings, but I'm also capturing like the heartfelt moments throughout those luxury like looking things. So it's like it's very like two sides.
Yeah.
Which is really cool too. But yeah. And I was going to talk about like how photographers can use astrology to reflect their own work.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like what I did with mine. Because I was like, you know what? I've never actually thought about it in business terms. I've just noticed it like in my personal life. And so your sun sign, what energizes you in business? So whatever your sun sign is, like what is it that energizes you in business? And so Virgo, it could be like details. And for Gemini, it could be like ideas. And so for an example for me, I'm energized by new ideas, variety, and communication. And I thrive when I'm exploring multiple projects, brainstorming, or connecting with others. And so networking, brainstorming, marketing strategies, experimenting with different styles of light, or just like approaches in photography that light me up is the way that I'm like, is what energizes me in business.
That's funny because mine for Virgo, like Virgos are very like reserved and they love to observe. And so I feel like that is how I approach wedding day. So that's like really cool.
Yes, exactly. And then so for your moon sign, a way that you can like incorporate this with astrology is like how to create balance emotionally. And so for like an Aries moon, that might mean like getting quick wins. And while a Pisces moon might thrive with like a creative downtime. So just like having a different hobby. And so for me, I need like emotional depth and security to feel balanced. I thrive when my work aligns with my values and allows me to create meaningful connections. And to avoid burnout, I need to make time for creative tasks that aren't photography. It needs to be like personal and nurturing to my art, if that makes sense. So just like my different hobbies of like just different art forms, that's what I need to feel balanced and not get burnt out from things, which is really important. And I also need downtime to recharge, whether that's like spending time at home or journaling or just like stepping away from business. I need that downtime. So look at your moon sign to see how to create balance emotionally. And then for your rising sign, how you're perceived by your clients or in your marketing. And so, for example, for me, of course, this is what I feel like. I've never asked my clients, but Clients likely perceive me as like intense, passionate, and deeply invested in my craft. And Scorpio risings often exude like mystery and authority, which means clients see me as like a leader or someone with a signature refined style. And so, yeah, I'm going to repeat those again so you can write them down, because I just think those are like so cool to try to match up with how your astrology is and how you can use it for your business. So sun sign, what energizes you in business; moon sign, how to create balance emotionally; and then rising sign, how you're perceived by clients or in your marketing.
Love it.
Yeah. So I thought that would be good for people to like dig into their astrology.
A great assignment for slow season.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Exactly. And just see how you like operate.
Yeah. For sure. And especially speaking of how you operate, we wanted to talk about like your south node and your north node in astrology, which we have the same one. So
it's crazy.
Your south node is basically what you've already mastered in this lifetime or a past lifetime. And it's something that you're supposed to like move away from. It's like your comfort zone. And so our comfort zone is in Aries, which is like being super independent and kind of like a workaholic, which we are very both the same. And so we're supposed to move away from that to our north node, which is where we need to grow. And both of our north nodes are in Libra, which is collaboration and partnership. So we're supposed to move away from being like independent all by ourselves and move towards collaboration and partnership in business and life. So
yeah, just not feeling like we have to do everything by ourselves, because that's just how we were raised. Whatever it is, that's just how we've been, just like very like, I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody else. And sometimes that's not true. You do need people in your corner, and collaboration does make the world a little bit better.
Yeah, so go look at your north and south nodes and see if you are moving toward your north node or you're still kind of stuck in your south node, and see how you can improve in this business
Yeah,
year.
it's very interesting because I just learned about it like a few months ago, and it was just like everything that I had been working towards, which is just so crazy that it really is like it makes sense for when you're looking for it.
Or if you need some guidance and you're like,
yes,
I know something needs to change, but I just don't know what. Go see where your
just go see what it says. And if it's wrong, then okay, you don't have to follow it. But it's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting to find out, because it's just like, wow.
And it's cool how like astrology and human design kind of mirror each other, because there's something in what we'll talk about it, but your profile line in human design really like mirrors your north node. And so I think we have the same profile too. So
yeah, but we can get into it. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Is that the last thing for astrology?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Let's talk about human design. My most favorite, my most passionate topic.
Did you write down what it was on your thing?
Oh, no.
No, that's okay. I wrote it down just because I wanted to just say what it was, just because I know a lot of people probably won't know unless they're like,
if it's your first time hearing about it.
Yeah, because some people might not even know what that is, because I've talked to people that are super into astrology and they've never heard of human design before. So
it's kind of a newer thing. Like it was made in like the 80s, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So human design is a system that combines elements of astrology, the I Ching, and the chakra and quantum physics to help you understand how your energy works. And it's how you're wired to live, work, and make decisions. So think of it as a blueprint that shows your strengths, how you're meant to show up in the world, and what feels most aligned to you. And that is literally why I love human design. And the I Ching is also known as the Book of Changes, and it's an ancient Chinese text that describes the 64 archetypes of the human experience. So in human design, these archetypes are mapped onto your energy centers, so your chakra centers, and it shows how your unique energy is designed to interact with the world around you. It's layered, it's deeply insightful, and for us, it's been like a big game changer as, you know, photographers, entrepreneurs, as humans, because it gives us permission to lean into our natural strengths. And instead of just trying to follow like a one size fits all approach to life, because we always try to mold into like, what are they doing? I'm going to do the exact same thing as them. And so this kind of gives you permission to just do it your own way.
Yes. And so basically you'll find your human design chart. So if you want to go to a website that gives you a very in-depth chart, it's the founder's website. It's ahumandesign.com, and you'll just type in like your birth date and what time you were born, same as astrology, and you'll get like a huge PDF, and it looks very overwhelming.
And it is. Like when you look at the chart, you're like, what is that? And it is overwhelming, but I would just start with the basics.
Which we're like, going to go over.
Yeah, which is just like what type you are. So you can be a manifesting generator, a manifester, and a reflector.
And a projector.
Yes. And so those are the different types you can be. And so I think just look into that first.
Yeah.
If you're confused, because everything else, there's a lot that goes into it. There's different gifts and like, I don't know. There's a lot. And I haven't even gone through it, but the PDF probably would help you to understand.
What I did is I found out what my energy type is, so manifesting generator, and I just went on TikTok and searched everything about manifesting generators.
That's a good idea too.
That's a great starting
podcast
point.
Too. I think that's one of the things that I looked up to is podcast about my specific type. Which is also a manifesting generator, if you're surprised. But okay, you go ahead and start.
Okay, so what even is a manifesting generator? They are multi-passionate individuals who are efficient in streamlining multiple things at once. So a big generalization for manifesting generators is that we like to pivot a lot. And sometimes there's a lot of shame with that, just from society. Like I've always kind of felt shame about wanting to do something and then kind of letting it fall to the wayside and then changing my mind and being super passionate about something else. And it can be kind of, I don't know, sometimes people will make me feel like a quitter or like I'm not serious about something, but I am so serious about it in that moment. But that's just how manifesting generators are. You should give yourself permission to pivot, because you're supposed to follow like whatever lights you up, or whatever gives you that energy, because manifesting generators have their own energy life force, and whatever you're very passionate about, you will have like eons and eons of amounts of energy to do that. And whenever you don't feel that energy anymore, it's okay to like pivot and go to something else that is giving you energy.
Yeah. And it just goes to show like you can try different things. Even if you're not a manifesting generator.
Seriously.
Like, just try different things.
We only have one life. You don't have to do the same thing for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And I feel like that's how a lot of us grew up, especially if you're like a millennial Gen Z cusp. It's just like you're not allowed to try anything, like you or you try something and you can't stop doing it for some reason. Like why is that like stuck in our heads where we have to just keep going even if we don't like it? That has never made sense to me. But yeah, so it definitely gave me permission, like when I finally was like, oh my gosh, that has been me my entire life, but I've never like realized it, if that makes sense. Like I've definitely known it, like I guess subconsciously, but I've never been like, oh my gosh, that is me. Like I do like trying different things, and I do love to follow what lights me up in that moment. And then if I get bored of it, I get bored of it and I don't do it again. Or maybe it's a skill that I'm going to use in the future. Like all my graphic design stuff, like I went to school for it, dropped out, but all of the stuff that I've learned, I still use to this day. And that might have seemed like at the moment been like, oh my gosh, that was such a waste of time. I cannot believe I did all of that. But like I still use it to this day in different forms. So it's like you can use some of the skills that you learned from whatever you were like, you know,
nothing
doing.
is a waste.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing is a waste. And even if it is, whatever, like at least you tried. Like some people don't even try.
Right. So I guess we could kind of talk about a manifesting generator is a combination of two different types. So there's manifestors and then there's generators. Manifestors are really good about like bringing new ideas to the table. They're like the innovators. And then the generators have a lot of their own energy to
make shit happen.
And so,
and they can make it happen fast.
Yes. And so a lot of times like a manifestor would like have an idea and like speak that into existence for the generator, and the generator would be able to take that idea and run with it and make it happen. But when you're a manifesting generator, you have ideas and you also have a lot of energy
to make it
happen. And so it could look like you're like fast tracking to like become an expert about something. And so like a lot of times people say like, oh, you're so good at everything, which is kind of true.
Yes.
But we have that manifestor tendency to be like, okay, that doesn't light me up anymore. So let me change my mind and pivot. Yeah.
So. And we can pivot fast. And that's what I've learned too, is like, I don't like to linger on things anymore that aren't working or that don't light me up. Cause I'm just moving on to the next thing. I don't need to stay here anymore. Like why? It's making me sad or, you know, frustrated. So why stick to that thing? So yeah, I definitely, I thrive on variety and just having like different projects and just like balancing different things. I've just learned to focus on projects that truly light me up instead of saying yes to everything, which is something that I've definitely learned.
Yes. So that's your energy type, or that's our energy type, manifesting generator. The next thing that you'll kind of discover is your strategy of how you kind of move about life. So each energy type has a different strategy. And for manifesting generators, our strategy is to wait to respond, which is kind of confusing, but basically you're supposed to just live your life, do the things that make you happy, and then opportunities will come to you and you'll have the opportunity to respond to it. You can either say yes or no.
Yeah. I wrote down strategy for mani-gens is that we're driven by what feels right, not what we think we should do too.
Yes.
Is one of the things. And we're designed to wait for opportunities to come to us and then act based on what lights us up in that moment. So responding doesn't mean like just like waiting around and just being like, well, hello.
Right. You're not just supposed to sit on your couch.
Like when is it coming? It's about just being present and like noticing those little things that spark excitement or curiosity.
Basically, you can either have like your alignment or your misalignment, which in human design they call it like your self or your not self. And so your self for a manifesting generator is to be satisfied every single day. And so you can kind of gauge yourself, like if you're not feeling satisfied, then something's wrong and you can pivot. And so that has helped me in my strategy waiting to respond is I'm just doing the things that satisfy me every day.
Yes.
And by doing that, it kind of puts you in the path to where you are living out your authenticity, and then opportunities will come to you, and then you're ready to like respond to them.
Yes. Basically. That is so good. That is so good. I was going to say something, but it kind of just like whoop, out of my brain. Oh my gosh, what was I going to say about that? Oh, it's like kind of like when people say like, oh my gosh, you just have so much good luck, but you're like doing everything to that point of having good luck. And the reason you have good luck is because you've been preparing for that moment.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's like literally the definition of that, where it's just like, no, we don't have good luck. We've just been preparing for this moment, this opportunity to bring us here. And we've been preparing for it. So of course we're going to be good at it.
Right.
But what was next on yours?
So that's your strategy. And then how you make decisions is called your authority. And so you kind of touched on it before, but manifesting generators, their authority is in their gut or their sacral. And so you're supposed to follow things that light you up in your gut. It's going to be like a yes or no, like, reaction.
Is it all manifesting generators? Because I'm pretty sure one of my friends is a manifesting generator, but hers is emotional.
Oh, maybe it's different. Mine is sacral.
Okay, mine is sacral too, but I'm pretty sure you can have emotional.
Okay.
As well.
That's so true because Kinsey's an emotional.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can have sacral or emotional.
Or logical. There's different types.
Yeah.
That you can like use.
Yeah, and I guess it just depends on like your birthday and time or whatever. Because some of these are just for mani-gens, but there's some that are like that can change within that.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
I should have made a note of like what is all manifesting generators and what is just
Yeah.
Yes. Because we're the same. We're literally the same person.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yes, so the sacral authority is just like trusting your gut, basically.
Yes, trusting your gut.
And just using that as like the ultimate guide and just like trusting that immediate yes is going to be a yes. Yeah. And that immediate no is going to be a no, no matter how hard it is to say no to that thing. Well, because you might want to think about it logically, you might want to think about it emotionally, you might think about it like, oh, this would be a good idea, but then this and
but so if it wasn't your initial reaction, then it's not for you.
Yes, exactly. So you really, really have to be in tune with your body and just like trusting your gut because it's always right.
Well, in some ways that you can figure out if it's your gut.
If you're sacral.
If you're sacral, yes. All of our sacral homies out there.
Yeah.
It will be like a physical reaction. Like a lot of times when I am lit by something, I like, yes, or like I'll do a dance, or like when I'm eating food, like I'm always dancing. I love it so much. Like it's very like yes, or if it's no, you're like
yeah.
Like you'll make like a audible noise. And if it's a maybe, most of the time it's a no.
Yeah.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Yep. No, exactly. And mine, I really do actually feel it in my gut, either like butterflies or like you said, it'll be like an actual yes, like, oh my gosh, I really want to do this. Like you'll feel like the energy and the excitement of it. And when it's a no, it's like, you can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it for sure. And I'll never understand my emotional friends because I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. I'm like, trust my emotions? No, thank you. Thanks. They will lead me astray.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, if something feels exciting and like energizing, it's gonna be a yes every single time. And if it feels heavy or uncertain or draining, it's a no. Even if it logically seems like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I've made mistakes before where I have said yes to things I should have said no to, and it definitely always seems like a good idea, but then I get there and I'm like, this is not a good idea at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, for example, with like wedding inquiries, like I do sometimes just trust my gut with like what the people that I say yes to as well. It's just like getting to know them and just like moving forward with them. Like I'll know immediately whether it's going to be a yes or a no. And so I've just learned to be more aligned with my business and how that comes to be as far as like saying yes or no to different work opportunities. And just trusting your gut and not overthinking. Which, if you're emotional, overthink.
Yeah. If you're emotional, you need to take some time and see how you feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny.
Okay, so then after your authority, the next thing is your profile line, which we're not going to go into all of them because there's a million different ones.
There's
two
many.
different, basically it's two different numbers. The first number, it looks like a fraction if you're looking like on your chart. But the first number is your inner what is it? Your inner world. And then the second number is like your outer, or like how you interact with like the environment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we have the same profile.
Mm-hmm.
And ours are 2 4s, which is the hermit / opportunist, which they're like in opposition to each other, which is really annoying.
Yes, it's so funny.
So like our inner world, like we love spending time alone. We love self-reflection. We love being a hermit. But then our opportunist side of us really needs to be in community with others. And that's how we find our opportunities.
Yes.
So it's like, that's why we're like in our networking era, because we know that that's where our opportunities are going to come from, even though we just want to be couch potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. And it also, our profile also means that we're natural at we're naturals at certain things too. Yeah. Even if it like doesn't seem like it is, although I've always seen myself as like, I can do anything. Mm-hmm. It's very like, I've always been that kind of person where I'm like, oh yeah, if I learn how to do it, I'm gonna be able to do it. And then yeah, just like I thrive when I balance alone time with like community connection. Same. And so it has to be like this balance of both. And the hermit side of me loves like diving deep into like creative projects and like editing and brainstorming and designing, branding and stuff like that, but I have to do it alone.
Yes.
I cannot be around anyone just because like I just know that first I won't get it done because I'm going to be talking to people, but also it's just like those things I like doing alone. I do not like doing them with other people. And I just need that solitude to like recharge and stay intact and balanced within myself.
And I feel like we're more efficient by ourselves too.
Oh, yes.
Which again,
so much more
going
efficient.
Back to our south and north nodes, it's literally the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is so crazy to think how it's all interconnected and how real it is in our lives and like how true it is, especially like more so now that we have like so much life experience, so much life experience and just like knowing ourselves and just like being, I don't know, finding more power within ourselves and like just being more confident too in who we are. And even like, what I'm thinking of is like how we're even dressing too and just like finding more power in that. So yeah, it's just crazy like how real this shit is.
No, that's why I love it so much, because it does give you confidence. Even if it's all a load of shit.
Yeah.
Like, the confidence alone, I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be real. Who cares?
Yeah. But it does be seeming to be true.
Yes, so. It helps. And then the opportunist, what I wrote down is like, this is a side of me that thrives with like relationships and community and like networking, like collaborating with like even Miranda on the podcast, like just connecting with my clients, like brings out like the best in me and opens new doors to opportunities, which is why it's called the opportunist. But yeah, so that's just been like my whole life. It's been like that. It's just crazy that it's like written down and that other people are the exact same way too. But I don't know, it's just wild to think about.
So go look at what your profile is, because that's going to help you figure out where you need to balance your life, basically.
Yeah. So it's strategy, your energy type, and your profile are like the 3 main things that I would look up and start with, because there really is so much that you can look into, but those are like the 3 that I would say like will give you a gist of what you're good at, how you should be responding, how you should work with your energy and whatnot.
And so we kind of already talked about the alignment, or like the self, which for us is satisfaction. And then our not self, or when we're out of alignment, is frustration. So we can know that if something is making us frustrated for no reason, then it's like out of alignment.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Which is very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is that for every?
I think frustration is for every manifesting generator.
Oh, okay. Okay. But certain energy types have their own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different energy types have different.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it was the same.
And then my favorite thing is the manifestation process. So you're either going to be non-specific or specific in your manifestation process, or active or passive. So what are you? I don't know.
I'm specific.
Oh yeah.
But I can't remember what my other one is. Okay. I can't remember if I'm passive or not.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about this when we were talking about vision boards a couple episodes ago. But I'm non-specific and passive, so that kind of just helps you go about your manifestation process if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is, I think last time we talked about how specific is like I'm supposed to be very, very specific with what I want. So if I want a new car, I'm going to know the brand, what color I want, what features I want, literally everything. And Miranda's going to be more so like if she wants a new car, she knows what it wants to like feel like. And even just like if it is a certain color, she's not going to really know the brand. It's just going to have like certain features. It's going to make her feel, I don't know, good. So it's just very, non-specific.
Yeah. Kind of self-explanatory. Oh, something else that's really interesting in human design that I think is the environment. So, there's different environments that you kind of thrive in, I would say. And you're shores as well. Yeah, we're both shores environment, which doesn't mean the beach, which for the longest time I thought I meant the beach. And I was like, cool, I live in Texas.
Like, great.
But basically the shores means kind of like the juxtaposition between two different environments.
Yeah, so it's like a transition, connection, and what was the other thing? And contrast. So that's how I would describe
contrast between two different places. So for like in simple terms, or not simple terms, but a simple way that I like to practice the shores environment is if I'm working, I make sure that I'm working like by a window so that like I'm in like a cozy environment, but I'm looking out towards something else. Or a shore is a good example because it's like the water and the earth. But
yeah. When I was gonna say like something that I realize is like my best ideas and like breakthroughs happen when I'm transitioning between activities. So like traveling to a new venue, walking along the path of water, or like switching up my creative spaces is definitely like a way that I have creative ideas too. And so it's not just like where you're supposed to be, because for a long time I was like, oh, it's where I'm supposed to be, like as far as like living or like where I'm supposed to like have a home. I thought it was supposed to be like, oh, I literally need a Malibu beach house, like
right.
that's the only way I'm going to be in alignment. But it's more so it could be anything, like as far as like how your brain works, how you get creative ideas is through the transitions of life. Is what shores means, or it can mean more than that, but
yeah. And it's so true that I always love like when I'm in a space where I can like see the mountains and then I can also see like the beach or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When I can see two different contrasting things, it's very like
it's like satisfying.
It scratches the itch in my brain.
Very satisfying. I also wrote down that shores environment means we're most creative and energizes in spaces of connection and contrast. So that's a really good one too.
Seems true.
But I think that's all I had for shores. But the environment is cool to look at too.
Yeah.
And did you write down your strongest sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know if you knew yours or not.
Yeah, mine is touch.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, which is funny because I don't like being touched. Like I'm not like a big hugger. Like I don't think I've ever hugged my sister. Like I just didn't grow up like in an environment where like my parents were hugging me. Like we just weren't in like a lovey-dovey family. And so I think I just grew up not wanting, like it just feels weird to me to like hug people. And I still do. It's not like I'm like, ugh, don't touch me to people when they do like go in for a hug, or even like my clients, like I always go in for a hug, but it's just so when I saw touch I was like, oh god, like what do you mean that's my strongest sense? But I wrote down it's like it means to connect deeply with the physical world through like sensation, texture, and tangible experiences of life. And I have a natural ability to sense what feels right through hands-on interaction. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to like be touching things, but it's like whether that's like the feel of a camera, the energy of a space, or the emotions in a moment. So and I connect best with clients and people in in-person environments.
This is so true.
Where the energy and physical interaction help me bond on a deeper level, and I'm drawn to like photographing moments that feel physically connected to the couple, like they're holding hands or they're hugging, or sometimes I'll see them do something that I didn't direct them to do, but I'll tell them to do it again because it's like that's how they're connecting. So I can always see, and I'm always drawn to those moments too. And I also like to guide my clients with a focus on how they interact, which I guess is exactly what I just said, but like poses that feel natural to them. And I'm not just like posing them like everyone else. It just like whatever feels right in the moment is usually
and
how
this is why we're even talking about this, because it's so important to know yourself and to know like
how you operate
so that you can operate out of that way in your business.
Yes, because it'll always feel aligned. It'll always feel like yourself. It won't feel like you're doing something so out of your comfort zone just because someone else is doing it, or you saw someone do that at a wedding and so you feel like you have to do that, which you don't.
Yes, and it's just
you can be yourself.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you say yours is touch because mine is outer vision. And so
tell me what you read about yours, because I didn't read any of yours because I wanted to be.
Basically, it is about like being observant and perceiving, but it's also about making life more beautiful. And this really resonates for me because when I'm taking a photo, I am, one, observing what's happening, but two, I'm wanting to show that subject how I see them and how what they're doing to me is like very beautiful. And I want them to see how like these little,
how you see them.
Yes, and it's so beautiful. And so I just think that it's crazy that mine is outer vision, and that just all resonates.
I wish I have done a wedding with you to see how you work, because then it might like click with me. So it's cool that you've seen me work and you kind of like, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And so I can't wait to see you work one day too, and be like, oh my gosh, yes.
Well, that's happening in September.
Yes, I know. So exciting.
So yeah, that's basically all of the points we wanted to go over for our human design and how we kind of use that in our business. And we just really, really, really encourage you to go look at your own stuff and see how you utilize all of those strengths to make your business thrive. Because
it like at first, obviously with human design, it was just kind of like how I felt personally, but then doing this and like talking about it, I was just like, how does it work with my business? So it was fun to like realize things of like how it is with my personal life, but also how it affects my business as well. So it was fun to do that. And I did want to add some questions to help you think about your energy, your strengths, and your decision making in your photography business, whether you know your design or not, because these are questions that if you're like, I don't really care about human design, you can do this anyways. It's just like, how do you feel most energized when working on your photography business? Are you chasing opportunities, or are you letting the right clients and projects naturally come to you? And then what types of spaces or environments inspire you the most during shoots or creative work? And do you feel connected to how you make decisions? Are you listening to your gut? Are you emotional, or are you logical? Because all of those things will help you so much if you just know how you operate in your business. So just like take some time to think about these questions. And of course, if you want to dive deeper, go to the website that Miranda said. It was
ahumandesign.com.
Okay, perfect. And then see what,
or just DM me and we can chat.
Yeah,
I
that's
love talking about it.
It's so fun to know these things. And if you have any questions, we also have that form linked in our description if you want to leave us a question. And don't forget about, oh my gosh, I'm all of a sudden can't talk. We talk too much. Don't forget about our book club. This month. We're reading The Unreasonable Hospitality. And last but not least, don't forget to like, rate and subscribe.
Yes.
It helps us out so much. We're almost to 100 followers on our Instagram, and it would just mean so much to us if you liked and subscribed.
Yes, thanks for following along.
Yes.
We love you guys so much.
I know, we really do. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.